we're completely delighted, over the moon, to have Rai Kishori Devi Dasi here in Sudarshan Prabhu from Salt Lake City. Really, we can't actually believe that, and their beautiful family here, most of their family, more coming along. We can't believe you guys are here for this. This is such a special occasion, a Śaraṇāgati immersive to dive deep into the teachings of our Srila Gurudevs, and we're so immensely grateful to you both for coming all this way. You are, you run a successful business, you have a big family, lots of responsibilities, you manage this gorgeous center, Kirtan Center in Salt Lake City, and still you have found the time to be here with us to help us understand more deeply the positive and progressive teachings of our Guru Varga, and it is deeply appreciated, and we are just actually a little bit speechless that you're here. Really, it is amazing. And for those that don't know you guys, really, these two are some of the most special Vaishnavas we get to know, get to call our friends. And, you know, Sudarshan Prabhu, they both were born and raised in this tradition, and Sudarshan Prabhu was crawling around Srila Prabhupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's lotus feet. And he was calling him intelligent already at a very, very early age. And Rai Kishori Devi Dasi, she basically was already playing around in Navadip Dham, bathing in Srila Guru Maharaj's water, the remnants of his laundry water, you know, and that was just the start of your glorious life. And what's more, it's not just that. It's not just their blessed, you know, the blessed start to their existence. What they're doing is they're actively trying to live their lives according to the principles of Śaraṇāgati. And we have got to observe that. And we are amazed and awestruck with that, and just deeply inspired by it. So we cannot wait to hear more from you. And really just a message to all the participants, everyone here in person, those online, please take this opportunity to ask questions. This is an incredible opportunity to dive deep into these divine teachings that are our life and soul, that is really everything to us. So please take this opportunity and don't be shy. Really, it is, no question is, all respectful questions are welcome. And so without further ado, please, a very warm welcome to the introduction to Śaraṇāgati.
Thank you, Pandita. It really is truly an honor, and feeling very humbled to be here, because we look around the room, we see so many dedicated souls who've given their life to a very high purpose. And the truth is, you know, we're in a fallen state, and only by the grace of Guru do we have any access or ability to even contemplate these wonderful teachings. Śaraṇāgati is the grace of Mahaprabhu, as we're about to sing a song by Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, which is called Śaraṇāgati. And it is the first song of a book called Śaraṇāgati. And it is, said by the followers of Mahaprabhu to be the most fundamental posture that our consciousness can take toward reality. We say that we're practicing Bhakti yoga. And yoga, for many of us in the West, has become synonymous with Hatha yoga or some Ashtanga yoga, some type of posture of our body. But the deeper yoga, as you read Bhagavad Gita, every chapter, almost every chapter, is titled something yoga, right? And beginning with karma yoga, and then jnana yoga, karma sannyas yoga, dhyana yoga, etc., etc. As the Gita moves along, it's all yoga. So, in its deeper sense, yoga is moving beyond the body and moving to the posture of the consciousness toward reality and ultimately the source of reality. And this is the most effective, efficient with this wonderful diversity, variety, with this wonderful diversity, variety, and huge amount of experiences that we find our variety, and huge amount of experiences that we find ourselves existing within. So we'll try to worship our Guru Varga, try to worship this conception today, even though we're truly humbled and unqualified. So, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
And Jagat Guru Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
And Jai Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur ki Jai.
Jai.
So we'll begin by singing Śaraṇāgati by Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, which is on page 52 of the songbook.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori
Svaparshada Sviyatama Sahayavatari
Svaparshada Sviyatama
Sri Śaraṇāgati ki jai. Bhaktivinod Thakur ki jai. So this is an awesome kirtan. And so many of the trade secrets of Krishna consciousness are hiding, sometimes not so obscurely, in this songbook. And the more that we read these kirtans, the more that we see how much is being expressed from the heart of the saint. Because everything is existing in consciousness, and their words, we're trying to live in the aftershocks of their words and trying to worship and let these words wash over us, that they may reveal themselves to us. So it's a very amazing song, starting off with Infinity himself, who has come to appear in this world, is full of his kindness. Right? That's already just an amazing proposition, you could say, right? That's some pretty good news for all of us, right? Not only is the source of reality existing, but he has affection for you and he wants to give mercy. Like, that's so hopeful. So going, being gracious on the jiva souls, along with your associates in abode, you arrive to this place. So that's really good news for all of us. And it's really amazing. And then it's saying in the second verse, to distribute freely, right? Which is like the essence of all spiritual life, is always going to be free, right? That's, they're saying, it's the nature of the soul. It's intrinsic to who you are. Everything has to be free. No interaction is real unless it has freedom inside of it, right? All coerced, forced interaction is going to be of a lesser stature, right? So it's saying to express freely something very fine. The infinite has come to give of himself, and of his own right accord is giving something very amazing. And then what is he saying? Teaching exclusive surrender, like the life and soul of devotion. So really, we've only gotten through two verses, and they're saying the Lord himself has come, and he has a message that is very, very fine, right? Very amazing, and giving it, you know, this posture of Mahaprabhu. There's all these different expressions of Mahaprabhu in the different mudras, right? But this idea of one hand being up high and one hand going low. So the most high to the most fallen. And the funny thing is we don't really know what the most high is. And we don't know what the most fallen is. Right? We don't know where we are. But the symbolism of the most high to the most fallen is very hopeful. Right? And you're going, actually, we don't know really where this whole storyline goes. All we know is that historically things get very dark, and we're in some type of point on a line, in a plane, in a solid, and in some type of storyline is expressing itself. But the fact that mercy is real and is coming, and that there is a life and soul, and life and soul of the devotee is this amazing sentence. There is a world that is full of connection, that is very exciting, right? Very, very wonderful. And he goes, the life and soul of the devotee. So that's the first two verses of this song, and then we will go into the different things. But it's very important to know that Bhaktivinod Thakur is saying Mahaprabhu came to give that thing.
Yes.
Right? And he's saying it explicitly here, so we don't have to imagine it, which is very nice. And I don't know if you want to go on to the next part.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the song is very amazing, very compact, as Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur songs are. You know, in India there's a title called Kaviraj, and in the Vedic culture, a kavi is very highly thought of, because a poet, a true poet, has the ability to capture in a very short, compact, but also beautiful way some essential truth that's stirring to us. And Bhaktivinod Thakur in this very beautiful song is capturing so much. But I think very importantly, he's saying, Shikaya Śaraṇāgati Bhaktera Pran. Mahaprabhu came to teach Śaraṇāgati, which is the prana, the life energy, the actual sustaining force of bhakti and the bhakta. So, we're kind of curious, well, what's that? We should probably think about that. And then, of course, he explains what that is. Different verses have said this in different ways. Bhaktivinod Thakur's own expression is Doina Atmani Vedana Goptritvārana Abhashara Kibai Krishna Vishashrapalana. So this is 4 of the 6 limbs of Śaraṇāgati. Doina, humility, Atmani Vedana, to fully give yourself. And, there's a lot of assumption built into Atmani Vedana, which is you actually know your own Atma anyway. There has to be some self-awareness, right? Some real refinement of your own quality of free will. And what is your intention, and to then give that toward the Lord. And our teachers have emphasized, including Srila Guru Maharaj, that Goptritvārana encompasses all of the other 5 limbs. Goptritvārana is the heart of Śaraṇāgati. And all of the other ones you can say are branches of Goptritvārana. But Goptritvārana encompasses everything. If you want to define Śaraṇāgati, it would be Goptritvārana. And why? The Goptritvārana generally is translated as embracing his guardianship, which again, even for English speakers, I don't know how that translates to any other language. But even for English speakers, it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Embracing his guardianship. You know what it means, but you don't know what it means. It's like these things have a very practical application. They're not vague ideas in life. And by the grace of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj, we have some understanding of how to actually practice Goptritvārana in your real life, in the moments of your everyday existence. And this is all meant to be very practical. It's not a theoretical exercise, but an actual adjustment of the way that we interact with the existence that we have. Because Goptritvārana means to embrace his guardianship, but Śaraṇāgati is also a very positive meaning. We translate it again, in this song it's translated as exclusive surrender, which is a very nice translation. The Sanskrit is composed of 2 words, and the 2 A's come together and then they become A. So Śarana plus Agati. Agati means to come, and Śarana means like a very sweet word, Sharanam Gacchami means to surrender, but it also means like, you're my shelter. You're where I'm taken care of. Like Sharana means home. Sharana means shelter. Sharana means the place where you're cared for. So Śaraṇāgati actually means to come to reality, but it means what is reality? It's Sharana. It's the place where you're cared for. So what does that mean? Right? It's resetting our relationship with reality, Śaraṇāgati. Because generally in our however many lifetimes, time immemorial, we have some patterns and some misconceptions about the world we live in that we've accumulated over time. And generally we have some type of animalistic, fear-based relationship with reality, where we have to utilize suspicion in order to protect ourselves. And so we are suspicious of different circumstances that we find ourselves in. And we're not seeing the Lord at the basis. But the wonderful thesis of Śaraṇāgati is that reality is your friend. And the practice of Śaraṇāgati is to live as if reality is your friend. And ultimately you will find out that reality is your friend. But in the beginning it's like it's an article of faith. Something friendly is occurring to me when every part of your body, your body and your mind might be going, no, that's not true. Reality is your friend. And pravrtti-matrena means more than your friend, your guardian. And Guru Maharaj has this Sridhar Maharaj, he has a very, very nice definition of guardian. The guardian means who wants good for you more than you want good for you. Just as an aside here, there's a very interesting psychological experiments have been done on this. And one fascinating psychological truth, like, you could say however true that is, but human psychology generally, people don't take care of themselves. And people will generally, do something for others or for some other situation more than they'll do it for themselves. So we actually, in some ways, are bad caretakers of ourselves. But Krishna's not. So guardian means who wants good for you more than you want for yourself. And the other part of the definition of Guru Maharaj is who knows what's good for you more than you know. So can we accept that Krishna is the cause of all causes? Right? One of the greatest definitions of God that exists in the world is in Sri Brahma Samhita, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. Very, very profound definition. Sarva Karana Karanam means of all causes, he's the cause. So there's so many secondary causes that we're identifying and calculating and trying to figure out. But he's the cause of the cause of the cause of the cause. So Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the beginning without a beginning, and he is the cause of all causes. And what Mahaprabhu came to emphasize, among many things, his own internal lila, but his emphasis in his preaching is that the cause of all causes is your friend. So how do you interact with life when you know the cause of all causes is your friend? That's the practice of Śaraṇāgati. And that's a reset, a total, you can say it's the death knell. It's the harbinger of death for the materialistic ego. If you can accept this truth and begin to live by it, then the materialistic ego is going to be extinguished. It has to be, because the Lord is at the basis. And ultimately everything in life is to serve him, and we are to serve him. And that process of yogic adjustment, right, this process of living where the Lord is the cause of all causes, and then progressing through each moment in life with this consciousness is actually Krishna consciousness. Because, it's said in many places, but particularly by Guru Maharaj, without Śaraṇāgati, you cannot be Krishna conscious. Because otherwise, you're going to be in a world that you see as hostile, right? The diseased consciousness either sees the world as something to be enjoyed, and when the world isn't giving us enjoyment, we see the world as hostile, right? And then it's something to be gotten out of. So we're actually on a conscious journey. We hear that we are a soul, we are Atma, but consciousness is actually very, very mysterious to all of us. And we know the Vedic understanding that actually everything is consciousness, right? Everything's coming from the Lord, and everything is Shakti. We're Jiva Shakti, but then there's, Maya Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, the external consciousness, and then there's Swarupa Shakti, or the high proper consciousness with actual relationship with reality. And Srila Rupa Goswami says there's only 2 diseases that can afflict consciousness, which is great, there's only 2, but they're pretty big ones. One is called Bhakti, and one is called Mukti. And Sometimes it's easy to look at other people and say, oh, yeah, that guy's a karmi. You know, and a karmi, I mean, do we even do that anymore? Well, when I was a boy, we used to call them karmis. No, I'm kidding. No, but a karmi means a person who like, but really, like when I was a kid growing up in Gurukula, like anyone who wasn't a devotee was a karmi, okay? And a karmi means a person who works for the fruits of their actions. Like, who would do that? And then you have this like horrible realization, like, you know, I don't know, some point in your life you're like, am I a karmi? Like working for the fruits of actions all the time. But that's bhakti, right? In other words, you look at the world as something that needs to give you something. And it needs to give you enjoyment. And you're making all kinds of plans how to make the world give you enjoyment. And you have all kinds of ideas that if this was just right here, and that guy did this, and then up the, and then I'd enjoy it, right? And we spend, our mind kind of just runs on that in autopilot. Oh, if this and this and this and this and this and this, we try to make it happen. So that's bhakti consciousness. And what happens when you engage with the world in a mood of bhakti is you become the object of exploitation for someone else, right? And then you don't feel so great. All right, it's like you know, you don't mind like having a relationship with reality, like, hey, reality, give me stuff. Like a mosquito. If you're like a mosquito on reality and you're like, hey, give me stuff, you know, give me blood, give me whatever I want. And you're just trying to suck energy for your own ideas, temporary ideas. But as soon as a mosquito bites you, you're like, what? Man, these things are annoying, you know. And when you get a lot of annoying things that consistently happen, what happens to your consciousness? You go from one pendulum to the other, and that's called mukti. I don't like it here. I want to get out, right? So this bhakti, which is like, yeah, it's all for me, yeah, all right, oh my God, it's so fun, yeah. And then you get a little smack, and you're, oh, I quit, I want to get out. And both of those are wrong. Both of those Rupa Goswami describes as pishachi, which means like a witch that can take over your subtle body. So we're constantly taken over by bhakti and mukti. So how do you find that proper relationship with reality, which is no matter the circumstance, I'm going to give. No matter the circumstance, I'm going to give, right? That's our conscious journey as devotees. We're trying to make that journey, to identify bhakti within us, identify the corresponding mukti within us. It's not in other people, you know. We tend to look outward and be like, yeah, the Mayavadis, they're into mukti, you know, and these karmis, they're into bhakti. But very slowly in spiritual life, eventually the spotlight starts shining inside. And then you're like, wait, is that me? No. Wait, maybe. No. But then eventually, yeah. Okay, I'm the one who needs to become a devotee. It's me.
And that's also where it gets exciting.
Yes. And then it becomes exciting.
Right, because prior to that moment, at some point in the journey, we'll start to see that we have some delightful obstacle has been placed not accidentally on our path. We can say it like that. And all of a sudden, our evasion tactics are not going to work, right? I mean, there's a reason that Robert Frost is so famous, right, with his poem, The Only Way Out is Through. If you read his life, very heavy life that he lived, right? That's still not moving into like a positive conscious plane, but it's not giving up, right? So there's a reason that it's quoted over and over and over again as like a very helpful thing when you're kind of confronted with an obstacle that you can't evade. We all have different specialized tactics for...
Slow.
Oh.
Just for the translation.
Yeah, sorry. I'll try. I will try.
It's so wonderful.
We all have specialized tactics for evading the karma that's coming to us. Okay? It's very important to understand that this word karma is a dual word. The moment that I have words that are coming out, they're coming back to me, right? If my actions are coming back to me, they're all coming back. And what is the problem that I can't see it? Because it's separated by time. So we have a game that we're engaging in, which is we're throwing out actions, words, thoughts into the universe and thinking by the time it comes back, I'm going to be able to dodge it. That's the game we're playing, right? That's why Guru Maharaj is saying you're playing a zero-sum game. You have to understand that you're playing a game where the operating system is more sophisticated than you are. I'll try to slow down. And then when you start to realize some of us have tactics like we become angry at reality, right? We're going to push against reality, right? Some of us we're going to do these things all not to experience reality. You can say like now the word sin is really out of vogue, right? It's like like we barely touch on these things, but you can say there's shadows on consciousness if you don't want to use the word sin, right? And they all have effects on us, right? If you let anger rule over you, it will take over your vision of reality, right? And there's always a karma associated with all of these sins. And generally speaking, the beginning of the karma associated with all sins is isolation. Okay, so very, very interesting that this word yoga, right, or, you know, like you were saying, bhakti yoga, which is coming from the word yuj, which means to connect, right? So what are they saying in the scriptures? Very self-reliant. They're feeling compassion. They're feeling empathy towards other humans, and not just the humans, to the trees, to the plants, to the animals. They're seeing super soul existing in all these, they're seeing divine providence in all these circumstances. So to the extent that we're starting to feel isolated from reality, that's the extent that somehow or other our vision has become covered by something, right? Even fear is considered a sin in the ancient scriptures. And you're going, what? Fear? That's my sense of prayer. It's like, no. The nature of the soul is to be very courageous. The nature of the soul, slower.
Yeah. Otherwise we'll have to do a section and stuff.
The nature of the soul is to be full of dignity, is to be full of courage, and is to be sovereign, right? Sovereign means there is some freedom that is being expressed. It's the highest expression of freedom to offer oneself. That's the highest expression of freedom. So now all of us will get confronted by a perfect obstacle. And if you're careful to meet whoever it is on your path, everybody has an obstacle. Some of them are massive, some are very small, some of them are multi-generational. You know, sometimes it's been going on for a long time. Sometimes it just manifested a blink ago, you know. But nobody's exempt, right? So either there's this kind of punitive, reactive, karmic world that we're dealing with, or there's something underneath. And the anthem from the spiritual world, really, and you can say like all of these scriptures are agreeing on certain point. Maybe there's an ocean of scriptures. Even different faiths are having major contentious points, but all of the faiths are agreeing. The source of this reality that we're in, he's very merciful to you. He is very kind to you. He is very affectionate, and he is very beautiful, right? And all of these circumstances are coming as what? Either chaos or purpose. So if there's purpose behind everything, now we take this obstacle in a very different way. Now there's purpose behind it. There is an attentive glance of the Lord in my own circumstance. And it's not accidental, right? That's the beginning of Śaraṇāgati, this word humility, which we will go into more detail as we go in. But this idea, Guru Maharaj's own definition of this word, premier, paramount, amazing. Humility means being open to infinite possibility. What is that talking about? It means I don't know why this circumstance has occurred. And I don't know all the chapters that have led to this circumstance. But I do know one thing. He's behind all things. And I must go through this thing because he's behind it. And I don't know the deeper purpose of these moments. I have to offer myself and adjust myself and carry on to see what is inside of this circumstance, right? And we have such a tiny, if we just scratch, it's such a limited idea of what we think we're supposed to go through, right? It's like, okay, I have 3 plans, and then my plan B and C makes it 8 or 9 plans. Come on, that's not infinite possibility. And this idea to go hey, the supreme adventurer, the supreme well-wisher and best friend of all, has somehow or other put this circumstance for me to go through, and I can't see it. That's part of humility, is right? I'm in reference to something that's larger than myself. I don't know all the things that are going on. The things that I don't know are more important than the things that I do know. Right? That kind of motion towards, and then not only that, what is expressed about humility from the scriptures is humility is actually so powerful that the upper world can't stop itself from reciprocating with it. That's what we're talking. So some interior quality is starting to come, and you see it with someone when someone's heart finally kind of cracks the tiniest bit, where they go hey, I've actually need to adjust myself. Do you feel you're time to get punished more? You're get over here. I actually can't stop myself from reciprocating with you. Well, reality is the same way. It is trying to teach us something. It is trying to advance us, right? It is trying to, if the Lord is in the environment in all circumstances, it is carefully and so patiently working on us. So slowly, through each and every, and it won't allow us to make progress as we are. And that's for our good fortune. We don't want to stay the same. In fact, we can say, there was a quote I read once that said, we're kind of clumsy stewards of our own souls, which means we're doing kind of a rough job of advancing ourselves, and in fact, you can see there's some people, and we've all met them, and maybe we're one of them, right? Where the more freedom that we get, the worse we can build for ourselves, right? Sometimes you give people some level of power, they'll immediately downgrade their life, right? It's true, right? So it means somehow or other we've put ourselves into some kind of complicated situation that we have to unpretzel ourselves out of. And so then you're starting to, this is the idea of Śaraṇāgati, is it's starting to give you a navigation system for the very real, difficult events that have occurred and that are occurring, right? Because we actually have to pursue transformation and resolution of these things, right? Spiritual life is being and becoming. Right? It's not an end kind of thing. You're starting to go into a motion of going, oh, something wonderful. I'm not just waiting for some end line. I'm trying to connect in the real moment of my life with exactly this thing that's occurring, right? Exactly this moment. And in fact, I think it's in sermons where he's saying, to focus very deeply on the moment that's in front of you. Guru Maharaj's own words, completely embrace exactly what's occurring in your life right now. That's where progress is. Progress wasn't 10 years ago in the future. It's exactly.
I wish I could have been there or this and that. It's right now.
Yeah, and that's very, very, again, empowering, hopeful, and wonderful to go right in this moment. I fully embrace this thing that I've been avoiding in a variety of ways. Everyone's got their own like ninja-like tactics, right? We're very good at evading our own progress. But Krishna is so kind, he's not allowing that to happen, we can say. And then you go, oh, now all of a sudden the glory and the beauty of this practice like surges. And now all of it's becoming real. Because guess what? As much as it is wonderful when other people make progress, and we are truly inspired, and we offer our affectionate obeisances to everyone that's making progress, because it is glorious. That's still, I have my own little work to do, right? And then now Śaraṇāgati starts to bloom. You go, oh, I have some progress to make. I'm not seeing infinite possibility. I had very limited ideas of what could happen. I'm not seeing that he's actually my guardian. I haven't actually let go of anything in a long time. I'm not offering, I'm not offering myself as I am right now, right? You can say Atmani Vedana is something in the beginning like that. It's not the performative version of me. It's not the idea of what I could be. It is exactly this fallen thing thrown at your feet to do with as you will.
Haribol, perfect timing. Jag or Turner Mahaprabhu. Haribol. Jai Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. is that a good pause or?
Yeah, I think so. Well, then verse 5, which we can finish.
Wow, that's right.
Okay. Those who surrender in this sixfold way, their prayer will be heard by the divine son of Nanda. So, very dramatic, very underline, embolden, highlight, expand. They're saying you can communicate with the infinite source of all of reality. If your heart is softened in such a manner, that Lord, the Lord's, the environment, everything is reciprocating with you. So this kirtan moves in an amazing fashion so quickly, right? Mahaprabhu is coming. He's merciful to the souls. What is he coming for? To give Śaraṇāgati. Here are these different blooms of Śaraṇāgati. If you can cultivate this kind of thing in your heart, the entire reality is folding itself and unfolding itself, and you are going to reciprocate with what does reality mean? What is actually occurring, not the elusive, external moving nature that's always like part of our exploitive vision, but actually what's occurring will reveal itself and will also be moving and reciprocating with you. That's what this kirtan is saying inside of it. And in 5 very condensed verses, right? And then, of course, an expression of humility, taking in his mouth a straw, falling at the feet of Rupa and Sanatan, and Bhaktivinod is touching their divine feet and begging them, please teach me something of this world, of devotion. And within 7 verses, it's like an introduction to an entire world that maybe we have not actually spent maybe almost any time contemplating. How strange in a certain way, but it's embedded in actual spiritual life. And in any actual significant scriptural story, if we pay attention to the very crux of the story, right? They say like conflict is the soul of the story. So if you find the most dramatic part of any Leela or the most dramatic part of any story, the significant thing that all of these stories are looking for is the quality of Śaraṇāgati that is occurring from the surrendered soul. The expression of that Śaraṇāgati is so gorgeous and beautiful that it will be celebrated not only as many of these stories, they're not even celebrated just on earth. They become celebrated through time, space, and the multiverse, right? Story of Bali Maharaj in the multiverse. This is like a galactic kind of story that is getting kind of passed to this planet. You know, story of Prahlad Maharaj, again, a galactic story from many millions of years ago. These kinds of, they are very ancient stories. And they are searching, all of the scriptures are searching for this moment of expression that is happening. And it becomes so glorious that all of these different words are being spun around it. Such is that quality. It's so, like, gravity-inducing, you could say. Like, everything is twisting around that thing, right? That's where the infinite is coming under the control of the finite, you can say, right? That's the actual dramatic moment in the story. It's all coming actually from that sold-out heart of a real devotee. So, auspicious invocation to Śaraṇāgati.
Just wondering, would this be a nice place to have a quick intermission? 7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay. Yeah, I think it's good. And then when we come back, we can talk a little bit about the forward to Prapanna-jīvanāmṛtam, which is Srila Guru Maharaj's wonderful work on Śaraṇāgati. And in my humble opinion, just for those that don't know, I mean, I was a minor in philosophy when I went to college, and I read a tremendous amount of people's mental regurgitations of undigested whatever. It is just, it's a mess out there, I'll tell you. You really start reading philosophy. But the forward to Prapanna-jīvanāmṛtam, which is in English, in my opinion, is the most compact and most brilliant capture of the possibilities of the directions you can go with your consciousness, focusing in on Śaraṇāgati and the teachings of Mahaprabhu, and pointing to a dynamic eternal life of the soul. Very, very wonderful. And we can maybe go through that a teeny bit, some of the key points of evaluating, because in the end we're free. We are a free particle of consciousness, and you can run after Bhakti, and you can run after Mukti, and you can run after many, many different conscious planes. So what do you do with your freedom? It's something to contemplate. And the proposal of the Vaishnavas is a particular proposal, which, in my opinion, is the greatest thing in history. Okay, Jai